My name is Elsa, and I want to talk about my near death experience that happened in 2012. I was a full time student. I had my husband and I have three kids. I have my mother in law living with us. I have my father in law living with us as well. He had Alzheimer's. So I was a very busy woman. No matter what, I felt so alone. I felt that I wasn't good enough. The house was full of people, but yet I felt this emptiness inside, as if I wasn't good for anyone. So I decided that I was gonna take my own life, and I did. I did take my own life. I took 250 sleeping pills, and I went to sleep. In a blink of an eye, I didn't know that the medication was gonna work right away. So I started gasping for air, and my mother-in-law was going to her room, and she overheard this gasping of air. She knocked on my door. I didn't answer. Next thing I know, she opens the door, but I'm no longer on my body. I'm outside, hovering in the corner, staring at her to see what she was doing. And I felt free. I felt happy. I felt very content. I was absolutely happy because I was no longer in my body. So she started shaking me, and I didn't respond. So she called the paramedics. The paramedics came. I watched them work on me. They intubated me so I could breathe because I was literally dead. Next thing I know, they're flying through the road. They flying through the freeway, and they almost hit a car getting to the hospital. And I said to myself, what is it why are they going so fast, and what is the bother? I'm right here and I'm okay. Everything is fine. So they rushed me to the hospital. They put me in, I was in a coma for 5 days. I would say that this was an induced coma because my body wasn't responding properly. So they put me in an induced coma. From this point on, I didn't know that I was no longer in my body in the hospital. I was laying in the bed. Next thing I know, I sit up, walk over to the window, the hospital window, and I look over to my right, and there is my body laying on the bed. And I say, I wonder how would it feel for somebody to say hi, for somebody to talk to me. And next thing I know, I look over to the door, and underneath the door, there were three bright lights. One came from underneath the door, and the other two stayed behind. The one that came in turned into an angel. And she said, Elsa, it's time to go. We gotta go. So once that happened, I was elated, but at the same time scared. So I said, I wonder how would it feel to fly over Spokane at night. And she said, do you want to fly with me? And I said, yes. She said, hold my hand, and we hold our hands together really tight. And we went through the hospital window, and we were flying through Spokane. And so next thing I know, we're going with through the speed of light. We were going so fast, super fast, that in a blink of an eye, I look back and I can see the earth down there, a little tiny speck down there was the earth. And so we kept flying. We got into this black mass. It was black, but there is no type of black on this earth. It was super black, that place that I went to, but it felt welcoming. I was very happy to be there. We went through that mass of blackness. Then we went into the tunnel, and this tunnel was full of light, was full of welcoming. It felt welcoming. All I wanted to do just be there, and I knew I was home. At this point, I didn't think about, oh my God, I took my life, and that's how I ended up in here. Next thing I know, we went to she said, wait here. We went through that tunnel, we went through the black mass, that tunnel, and the next thing I know, there is like this room full of people. She said, way outside. Before I could finish my thought, I said telepathically to her, because in heaven you don't have a voice, it's all telepathically. I say, can I go and sit on the moon? And before I finished my sentence, I was already sitting on the moon. That's how quick that transition from place to place is in heaven. Then I said, I want to count the stars. So I started counting the stars. I was overwhelmed with happiness. I couldn't understand why I was in that place of bliss, of happiness. But then everything turned ugly. Next thing I know, she says, Elsa, it's time to go. Come here. So I started pulling away from her. She started pushing me towards this room. And she said, it's gonna be okay. And I said, no, it's not gonna be okay, because I tried to take my own life. No, I'm gonna go to hell. This angel was very concerned about me. She finally pushed me enough to this room. There were 4 rows of people, lane 1, 2, 3, and 4. She said, get behind this woman on the first line. So I got in the lane, and then at that point I didn't understand that the doors behind me closed, and Jesus spoke. She said, what have you done for your fellow man? I have nothing, absolutely nothing to say. I had nothing to say, because I couldn't understand what I have done on earth. I didn't care about what I did on earth for people. All I can see was that I was not a good person, but it wasn't the case. This wasn't the case. What I didn't know, that these people in this lane we were going back. All this lane full of people, lane 1, a lot of people was on lane 1. We were all coming back to earth, but we didn't know that. None of us did know that. The second lane, they were there to stay. The third lane and fourth lane, I do not have an idea why they were there. So Jesus called me over to him, and once he asked me, what have you done for your fellow man? I just dropped to my knees and I begged for forgiveness. I say, forgive me, Jesus, forgive me. I have committed a horrible sin. I took my own life because I felt unappreciated. I felt so distraught. He said, get up, child. This is not your time, but you need to learn some things. There is hell, there is heaven, and there is earth. So he took me over to hell, and he explained what was there, and I don't want to get into that because it's very graphic. He showed me this place. It was very horrible. It was horrendous. He said to me, if you ever, I want you to know that I love humanity immensely, and I want you to tell humanity that I exist, that I am their God, that I am here their Jesus, that I am here for them, that a lot of people don't believe in me. They So please, you need to go back. Your job is to go back and to tell these people that I exist, that I exist, and that I exist. So then we turned around and we started walking backwards. Right before I left, he put me into this room full of crystals. He said, I'm going to heal you. I'm going to give you prophetic dreams. I want to be able to, I want to give you psychic gifts. So right before he sent me back, my angel that took me there to begin with said to me, everything is going to be okay. So at this point, they put me into a vacuum, and then it kind of sucked me in backwards. And she kept telling me, it's gonna be okay, you're gonna be okay. So ever since that happened, I am able to talk to angels. I am able to communicate with angels. I am able to give messages to people about these angels and their information and how they're on this earth to help humanity. Then I was told that I was going to be somebody very important here on earth. So once they sent me back, I just dropped. It felt like a wetsuit. I didn't want to go into that ugly body. It was cold. It was painful. And I just slammed into my body. And I opened my eyes. And the first thing I wanted to do was to tell everybody I'm here, but I was still in a coma. I couldn't do anything. I couldn't see anything. I don't know necessarily if I opened my eyes, but I was trying to let everybody know that I was there. I was there. I was already back in my body, but I was not awake. I semi-opened my eyes, but I was still in this induced coma that they put me on for 5 days. I woke up and I wanted to tell everyone about my experience, and I felt compelled to tell people, but then people started telling me, oh, you're crazy. So I kept it to myself for many years. I didn't want to tell anybody about my near-death experience because I felt that I was being judged. So I chose to come up and tell my story because it is important to know that humanity has somebody, which is Jesus and God. They have Jesus to take care of them. And Jesus told me very clearly, tell humanity that I exist, that hell is real, that heaven is real, and the earth is real. Please go back and tell humanity that I exist, that I love everybody, and all he wants us to do is to love each other, love one another with respect, and treat each other with respect. In many cases, it's very important to understand where you came from, to love yourself. Suicide is not the answer. I regret taking my life. After Jesus decided for me that I was coming back. I regret it. I asked him to forgive me because I said I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel worthy of anybody's love. And I just took my own life because I felt lonely. The house was full of people, but I felt empty. I felt lonely. So I just want to let everybody know I chose to come up with my story because it is important that people understand that suicide is not the answer. Please get help. Talk to your kids. Talk to a counselor. Seek help. Suicide is not the answer. Please take it from me. Thank you.